is Cypher Morrison, and this is This Week in Car Audio. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio. Tune in. We'll be talking about bass, talking about chips, talking about rings. You ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio. Yeah. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio.
Welcome to This Week in Car Audio with your host, Doug Stockton the Judge, and co-host, Jeffrey Fernandez, internet sensation, superstar. What else are you, Jeffrey?
All around great guy.
Yep, yeah, he is.
Stone cold.
Anything new, exciting happened this weekend for you?
I went wine tasting for the first time ever.
All right, cool. Let me see here. I'm trying out this new stuff right here. It says I should be able to click this button and pop out video. Oh, it said I see Facebook. If anybody's on YouTube, please do a YouTube post. Oops, let me close this down right here. Oh, I see YouTube on that. So let me pop out YouTube real quick. Oh, there we go. Hi. We got Mark Anthony. Okay, cool. So some of this stuff is working. Let me try and figure it out on the YouTube side. And let me get the YouTube stuff up on this here too. YouTube, it says I'm live. And let me mute this out. Guest Daren. And I'm muted. Dang, dog. All right, let me try this out here. Pop out chat. And there it is. And let's see if that shows up. RP Patel showing up in the chat. Oh, there we go. Now YouTube shows up. We look in and see you guys. There you go. All right. Perfect. So this stuff is starting to work now. So I'm trying to get all this stuff working. Anyway, so nothing new this. Oh, you tried wine tasting. Where'd you go for that, sir?
Grapevine, Texas, believe it or not.
So not the Grapevine here where we live?
Well, I think it's a little, well, you know what's funny is the Grapevine in California has more grapevine than here, than I notice.
Okay.
I'm like, where's all the grapevines? Where's all the grapes? And they must have it hidden or something in their, but I mean, it was pretty fun, it's right down where I work at. So, I work in Grapevine, Texas, and they just happen to have the Grape Fest. And, Roger was telling me all about it. He was telling me to go, and me and my wife went and checked it out and got a chance to experience wine tasting, which was pretty fun.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So my wife and I went to the Lodi Grape Festival. As a matter of fact, on Saturday ourselves. I don't drink,
What?
so I didn't partake in any of the wine. My wife tried some, and
Oh, you're missing out. You're missing out.
All right. So we're getting close to World Finals here. We currently have a guest. Let me change his name. I did not have his name changed. I am very sorry about that, sir. Rename. 1.5 weeks for people to get loud.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Properties. Anyway, so we went to the wine festival, a grape festival, and I ate a bunch of crap I shouldn't have eaten, obviously.
That happened.
Nope. Daren, how do you spell your name real quick? D-A-R-E-N?
D-A-R-E-N N-A-R-I-N-E.
N-A-R-I?
I-N-E.
N-E. There we go. Done. Oops. Backspace. Corrected. There we go. Now we got them fixed on the page. All right, so Daren's popped up on there. All right, so we got Daren here. He's from Trinidad, out in the Caribbean area there. We got a couple people that watch us there. SQ Sounds, which is they're out of
Barbados.
Bridgetown, Barbados.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah. So they're trying to come onto the DV drag scene. So Daren, why don't you tell us your history or whatever with DV drag?
Well, I've been a judge for let's say about 17 years in the car audio. And, well, as a judge, been
Uh-huh.
around car audio about 20 years. Um, since I was small, I was always around my uncle. You know, he was into car audio in Trinidad, but
Uh-huh.
wanted to get into the more aspect of judging, seeing when you see the local competitions in like at the malls. You want to be on a leaderboard or do something that is more more looking forward to basically, I would say, more recognition to the world. You want to be on a status. You want to have recognition going with it.
Okay.
And you know competition in all the Caribbean islands. We have our local trend, just like I think BVI and smaller islands has their own trend. Just like how Puerto Rico has it. They are more with the mids and highs outside, and you know
Yeah.
wanted to get more, bringing more feasible stuff to the industry, where rules are implemented and not just as anything or anywhere it goes. So easiest thing was DB Drag. We had Ayaska first in our country, and then DB Drag was here. But everyone gets accustomed to like those single pass lanes competitions,
Mm-hmm.
introducing qualifying and eliminations when you go to a car show, and it's all about playing audio and stuff. They think it's more single pass than head to head competition. So it tends to get a little more tricky when it's DB drag oriented.
Okay.
So
Yeah. No, that's fun. So, what got you into competing? Just like being with your uncle and whatnot. Did you compete first and then like move
yes,
to the judge side? What
yes
was
I
your
did.
classes? What was your high score? All that kind of stuff.
Super straight. That would be advanced 3 with Ayaska,
Okay.
and it would have been in that time it would have been super straight 5 to 8. That was where it would have fallen under. Um, the loudest back then competing was 162.1. That was our loudest score in Trinidad, and mine. I went out on top. I was doing. I had 615s DD and Mazda 323. Um, we did 166.4 with 650 9500, the D series triple stack,
Uh huh.
and I had Crossfire BMF 1000Ds, old school. Jeffrey could, you know, you know, he likes his Crossfire. So,
Okay.
Yeah,
um,
I ran the
that
BMF series. Pretty solid. Pretty.
yeah, I think I saw that with Steve Cook, and he has been. I won't lie to you. When I saw Steve Cook with his minivan back then, that kind of inspired me too. So, um, that was my competition vehicles. I had 2 vehicles with both of them were 615s. Yeah. Always watching them on YouTube, and you have like, or when you watch them or via internet, because they didn't have YouTube back then. My uncle used to compete in the States too. My uncle in Trinidad, he has his car audio shop, and my uncle in the States, he competed too. He had 615s stroker, the old one, and a Tahoe, with 6 8 PPI 1200 art series. That's when the record with Alma Gates were 160 decibels.
Okay.
He was actually 158.9.
So
So
so speaking of the two CD or the two where they not digital design, the strokers, right? The stroker
Yeah.
15s. We had a
Yeah, 650.
judges meeting the other day, and oh, before I get too far, I just want to Sam Dunn checking in there. We got Urshad Kajim. Looks like that's a Trinidad flag popping up there, I'm guessing. Anyway, before we get too far, I want to thank our sponsors once again. Sponsors of today's podcast. We have Stolman Transport LLC, Lots of Watts Lifestyle Clothing. We have Crossfire Car Audio, once again stepping up to do supports. And our last sponsor on this one is the Puns Customs out of Michigan. We're going to have them on here pretty soon. Celise popping in here. Yep, there's Puns Customs right there. Puns Customs, they're out of Michigan. They're starting up as a new stereo business or whatever you want to call it. So if you guys are interested in checking them out, get a hold of them. Also, okay, so we had a judges meeting the other day, and we were talking, and was it the judges meeting, Jeffrey? We were talking about some stroker 15s.
Yeah. That subject came up, and we were like, "Whoa, the old school ones!"
Yeah. So definitely all the judges, they definitely were way interested into that, and I'm sure some of the old school guys are going to be interested in it too. The stroker 18s were a beast to behold, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying we were talking about them, and the judges wanted to claim them. So I ain't telling nothing about no secret. I'm just saying we talked about some stroker 18s, and there was not a single judge there that didn't want to take those home. I'm just saying. So that's really cool. I don't know if you guys saw, but I have that new Top Dog necklace I'm going to give out at World Finals too for whoever wins Top Dog.
Cool. That's kind of gangster.
A little gangsta. Celise and I have been working on it for, I don't know, about 2 months or whatever, coming up with how we wanted to do it and whatnot. No, really cool. So we got other things happening. World Finals. So, how many World Finals have you been to, Daren? When was your first one? All that stuff, judging and whatnot.
Judging, my first event judging was with David McLean.
Right.
That was SBN.
Okay. Spring Break Nationals, for those that don't know.
Spring Break Nationals, correct.
Mm-hmm.
The first World Finals I judged at was Tampa Finals with Carlos Rodriguez in 3-4.
Okay.
Yeah. That was David McLean again.
Carlos Rodriguez from Florida, right? Not the one from Nevada.
Not the one.
Correct. Yeah, Carlos Rodriguez.
Yeah,
with
someone
Astro.
had confused the two, and I was like, wait, I think we were talking about the Carlos Rodriguez from Florida, not Nevada. But just to kind of clear that up.
It was a black Astro with 4 18s, if I'm not mistaken. And then my next finals after that was in Laughlin, Nevada, with you.
Yes, it was.
With Andrew McCain.
Uh-huh.
And then after, I think in 2012, I think I'm skipping a few, but that's where Jeffrey was there with me at SBN too. Yeah. I've been a lot of DB drags. I just basically I took a little time off because family. With my daughter, I didn't want to miss certain things with my daughter, but I didn't step out of the grid. I always kept up with the rules, educating myself with them. So I'm back on full stream.
Good. So how many events do you guys do in Trinidad a year?
Well, before let me not mention a guy that I used to judge with in Florida. I will never take anything away from him, which would have been Henry. I don't know if you remember Henry Magum. Henry, I can't say his last name, but he was judging with me back then. Henry was the DB drag judge alongside with me. And we did a lot of events with Mike Haddon with DB unit in Central Florida. We
Okay.
used to do a lot of events down there. But in Trinidad, I still live away a lot more than being in Trinidad. And I had DB drag for two two consecutive years, and then it changed hands because I was traveling a lot. I couldn't really put the time into it. And
Okay.
of May this year, I picked back up DB drag in full, and thus far we have 7 events on the calendar since May.
Okay.
We have an event this weekend. Um, I'm again, we don't before it had people doing it, but the format is if you're not doing, I always say with DB drag, you need to do it the correct way. You
Mhm.
can't do single pass entries with DB drag. That I understand sometimes time is against you, and you would just is he here? You're gonna compete, or you ask the competitor, are you gonna run? It's a 2.5 away DB or 10 DBs away. Would you just fall for the win to run the classes faster if you're pressed against time? But single passes entry, there's no fun with it when it becomes that way. It just becomes another boring show,
Well,
especially for base race.
yeah. So with DB drag, Gary Killian, he was going up against Craig Butler. Craig Butler at that time was doing like 184s, 183s, and Gary's doing like a 168. So Gary's got no chance in hell, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
Craig Butler's whole system, his turn on burp was like a 165. So he turns it, and it just 165 just by turning on the amplifiers. And Gary just says, well, let it rip. And when he turned on his amplifiers, they all blew.
Wow.
So he got zero sound out of his amps. They literally blew in the run head to head against Gary. Gary won a world championship in Extreme that year um, because he went head to head, and he didn't have a chance against Craig Butler,
Right.
right?
But I tell people all the time, once you go head to head, it's
You
basically
never know
anybody's.
what can happen.
Exactly. You never know what could happen.
True that. So those are the things we try to tell people all the time. We popped out. Let me see. Make sure I pop this back in here. Bam. All right. Cool. Um, I just want to double check. Cool. Yeah, everything seems to be working on the chat side today, which is awesome. I really enjoy that the chat side works. This is really cool. I can start clicking on some things and bring them onto the screen. Um, so you're coming this year, obviously, right? That's why we're introducing you to everybody that may not have seen you prior to this. Um,
I was there in July. I was there in July at
at
Laptop,
RP shop.
RPs, and I was there at down in just Gainesville with
Oh,
Rob
okay.
Collar. Yeah, and Chet. Well, all those 2 events I was with Chet alongside with Chet. You know,
Okay.
so I've been there. Just yeah, COVID did a lot of bad things. Right across the world. But we
Yes.
in March of this year we were locked down for let's say close to about 3 years, if you can say it that way.
Yeah.
Completely locked down, and nothing was in, nothing was out. So now is this year I started back really traveling and doing events and you know showing out, being out there again. But before, yeah, with COVID being there, a lot of restrictions and stuff like that, there was no way we could have left or even coming back. So it would have been if I'm coming there for last year World Finals, I would have been locked out of our own country, from my own country,
Right.
basically.
Wow.
So,
So you
so
get
with the
locked out
restriction
for 2 weeks or something before you can come back in.
until you can with an antigen, if you can, if it's you have to prove the antigen.
Okay.
You have to test negative.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I was talking to Tiffany and Tristan a little bit about their little island and some of the restrictions they were having, and some of them compared to what they have in the United States is pretty drastic.
it
Um,
is.
it and but they're completely fine with it because that's the culture that they have and their belief system there. So I'm sure it'd be the same there in in Trinidad. Same thing, you guys are used to a certain level of security,
Yes.
right? And here in the United States, we believe in freedom over security. Security's the individual's issue, not the government's issue. Not that I'm trying to get political on this or anything. I'm trying to stay away from that because I can go super political. Uh, but anyway, yeah, the thing is people tend to think that way, and it's really interesting because I love to meet people from different areas and see what they what their current thing is. How does their country, how does their system work?
Correct.
It's awesome, especially with the overseas guys, right? When you start talking to Yinis and the Russian judges and the French judges, and just kind of see, you know, what they do and how they do it and how they run their shows. That's always interesting. So I know, like, where
Correct.
you live, there's like golf cart style vehicles. A lot of really small and stuff like that. So how do you incorporate those into a DB drag?
Well, I would still think we have vehicles just as the United States. I would
Okay.
say those sizes because I've seen some vehicles in Brazil and those vehicles are really tiny. We
Okay.
have like we have Japanese vehicles and European vehicles.
Okay.
We have U.S. made vehicles like you have like Chevys and stuff like that,
Hmm.
but like Buick and stuff like that, we won't have that. And GMC, we don't have that in our country. But we have Chevy and a few others. Unless you're returning residents and you're bringing your own vehicle from what you were driving from the states and you're returning back to our country. But majority of our dealerships are basically Japanese and European. So BMW, Benz, Jaguar, those type of vehicles, Nissan, Toyotas, you know, along those like Mazdas, you get those things. So, but those vehicles are not really tiny. They
Hmm.
would still be the standard vehicles that you would see in competition. Just we're on the right side, our driver is on the right side versus in the US, it's on the left side.
Well, that's
You know,
silly.
what?
Hey, you know what, Darren? Last week there was a question to our guest about vehicles in that part of the country where he was. He was in Australia, wasn't it? Was it
Yes,
Sam
sir.
McWater?
Yes.
So I mean, is that kind of like where you are? Is there like a what they would call a cheater vehicle there?
No.
No. So
Pandas
there's
are still. You see, I think with the importation, when you import a vehicle from out of the country, you won't try to import the cheapest vehicle. So you would
mm,
still get all the interior in our vehicles versus when you see the vehicles in Brazil, they're lacking interior. I'm not knocking it. It's just that that's how they kind of phase the costing of the vehicle for everyone to afford it. But here it's not that. We don't have pandas. We don't have terrors. You know, the closest thing to we you would get that I would say, which would have worked back then, would have been like the Skoda vehicles or the Chevy Monzas
Mm.
back then. They would have
Yep.
used those vehicles, the Skoda Octavia and like the Fiat vans. Those vehicles that you would have used in 1 to 2 that you would see they use for with 218s and they would do like really loud numbers in like in the European side of things. Yeah, but that's the only vehicles that you would see. You know, but other than that, I think everything in Trinidad it's either sedan or a mid-sized pickup truck. You would
Oh,
get the
okay,
Chevy.
really?
Yeah,
Like the
let's
Toyota
see, all right.
Tacoma and stuff like that?
yeah. You're like okay, like the Chevy LTZs, the Colorados.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Oh,
like the Tundras will be too big for our roads. Dodge Durangos, GMC Yukon, you wouldn't get those. Lincoln Navigator, that's not something you would get out of the dealership. That's
Okay.
too big.
Oh,
T-
oh.
Tiffany from Bridgetown, Barbados says, "Yep, we drive on the wrong side of the road too."
Correct.
This came in from Mel Valdez. What is the most competitive class in your country?
Most competitive class. I would say street stock 2K, 1K and 2K,
Really?
because we have more street bangers. You know,
Mm-hmm.
car audio, our importations, and this is another thing. Importation tax is very expensive.
Yep.
So bringing in car audio or doing something like that, there's only a certain amount of budget that the the young person can afford. Like to you, the average person can't buy a 9500 DD. You would quicker go buy a 500 series DD or a C3 Crossfire. You can't get that C7. You'd have to be in a mediocre living lifestyle to really afford something like that, because car audio is it's it's not a necessity. It's something that
Right.
you would want for enjoyment or a hobby. So spending that amount on car audio, guys would prefer in Trinidad to go put a body kit or buy rims to look good,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Or if they're
So
over in Florida, they might bring it into the country with them, right?
correct, correct.
So,
But that the most competitive class I would say is 1K, 2K. And base race will be 20, 29.9, 30, 30, 39.9 max. Um, I've brought back 19 down to in my country. I brought back that class because of the fact of I want to show everyone you don't need a loud system
mhm.
to be able to be a winner.
Yep.
You can have like a single 10 Pioneer with 100 watts on base, and you can still compete. Everyone has a chance.
So what about
And
Top Dog? Have you implemented that out there at all, or?
I have done it the last show. I gave them a try for free to
Yep.
understand the format, and they love it. This weekend I'm offering for incentives actually, dog, to make people the first three shows I did for free, no cost,
Uh-huh. Okay.
no cost and entry, and everybody got cash prizes. I gave away cash prizes for every class that you
Oh,
competed in.
Oh,
That was just the incentive for to get the guys them to come out. And now I've stick with you're paying for class, but you're still getting cash prizes on base race and top dog.
okay.
I want you see when you burn something down, if you damage something, a trophy really can't buy it back. A
Uh-huh.
recone, you know. So I'm trying to give back to the industry. It's not really about me making the money. It's more or less I'm giving back to them, and they see the support that we give to them
Mhm.
as officiating staff or affiliate for DB Drag too.
Yep.
It's to really push it forward.
We just did our West Coast finale over here, and
I saw.
I ended up
I was looking at you.
giving about
$1,000.
$2,400 away
Okay.
cash at the event. So
Yeah.
I mean that was
I was
cool.
looking at
Yeah. I mean it's not
Yeah.
Roger's money, but it's money, right?
it.
All right. So RP has up here a question. It says, Daren, what is your home brand? Seems like some judges have a brand they support affiliate with. What's your number one choice brand?
All brands are good. Is
Yeah.
what how you put it to use. I will never choose. I'm not. I don't think any judge should be brand affiliated to begin with. I think all judges should be fair as possible,
Mhm.
and it's how you apply the equipment.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And
so for me
go
as
ahead.
a judge, I couldn't even tell you what my guys run out here. I know DC's popular because they're at all my shows and they're less than a 2-hour drive away from 80% of my events.
Right.
So I know DC's really popular out here. I couldn't tell you other than the guys that are Team DC Justin, Team DC Josh. Other than those guys, I honestly couldn't tell you what equipment anybody runs because as a judge, I don't feel that's any of my business. And then also, if somebody like RP or something were to ask me, hey, what's he running in his car? I couldn't tell you if it was 2012s or 412s or Hey, well, let's look what class he's in. Oh, he's in Super Street 5 Plus, so he's got more than 5 of something, you know?
I always say car audio or amplifiers or speakers. They are all output devices.
They
So
are.
it's how you apply them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't ever say there's a bad product out there. It's your application of your product.
Mm-hmm.
How you put it to use.
So I do know Jacob Fincher. Jeffrey knows Jacob. There was a guy, which everybody tells me, you guys out here in podcast land, you're not ready for Leonard yet. So there was this guy, Leonard, and he had his own brand of subwoofers. Leonard Foster's the guy's name. And I don't remember what they were, but they were super low level, and he was still doing like a 151 with like 4 of his 10s. And they were, I mean, like $40 a piece, you know. It was application.
Correct.
Versus the equipment. Now, when you're at the highest level, like you're at RP's level or you're at Gorman Cassidy, those guys like that, yeah, there is a difference in equipment when you're at that level. But when you're like a mid-level or a low-level guy, what you can afford, and if you're happy with the product you bought, that's the exact perfect equipment that you have.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's Sam Dunn asked, when will the brackets be out? Do you know by chance? I'm not sure what brackets he's talking about. Do you know, Jeffrey?
No, but I think he might be just talking about in general. And also just to let people know, I think what you could register all the way up until the day of. Is that right? Or
you can, but it's super expensive if you
right.
You
so
wait.
We really don't know ahead of time till they absolutely cut off registration, because they could just show up that day and then pay like whatever $500 I think it is.
Yeah.
And then register. And we won't really know until we get the brackets made out. Much like some sports, we won't know the full bracket anyways.
Tristan puts out that correct, Doug, because some guy might turn up in the lane with some Radio Shack doing some good numbers.
Exactly.
And Tristan says, like we say, it all depends on the application and how you use it, which is a truism. So, but yeah, so I mean, unless you're at the super elite level, and even those guys, they are getting the subwoofer and then customizing it to their vehicle. So once again, even at the super high level, yeah, some woofer might make a little difference over another, but it's the application that this guy takes this woofer and he adds a nickel to the backside of it just to add a little bit more mass to it to lower the FS or something like that,
or add a neo, those neo rings to the center of the motors that they've been doing.
Yeah,
I've been looking at it. It's creating more motor force towards the motors to create more output, to apply more power.
So it's definitely about the application. Like I said, and I mean, people always tell me, what's the best brand out there? I swear, you're the DB drag judge. What's the best brand out there? I swear I get that probably 30, 40 times a week, right? And this is just at work or, something about stereo stuff, and then, so what is it? And I always tell them, I says, what can you afford and what's readily available to you and who do you have that you can trust to install it? If you can afford it and you trust the person installing it and you're happy with the product you get, that's exactly the right system for you every time.
And trust me, there would be a class in DB drag to fit them in somewhere.
Yep.
Either in base race or in freestyle, there will be
top
a
dog.
class for them. Or top dog. It will be a class for them.
So with top dog, one of the guys like about top dog is we're allowed open doors, right? So you don't have to have a sealed vehicle in top dog. Now you'll see the guys here in California, all but one guy seals up their vehicles.
In top dog?
Yes, in top dog you do not have to have a sealed vehicle. So that gives the guys that can only do 119, they can open up their car and possibly do 129s.
Okay.
That's the level of guys that opening the vehicle actually helps typically versus hurts. When you get to the higher numbers, the more you open your vehicle, the more it hurts your ability to control the microphone and the number, right?
Right.
But the one guy that I have that opens up his door and his window, he does 149.9 in Top Dog, and he'll turn it up. Like if he messes up, he'll turn it up really loud to mess up the guy next to him.
But freestyle is not the same way because I know
Yes, freestyle is the same thing.
Yeah.
Freestyle is exactly the same.
You put the globe in the kick or wherever you want to put it.
Or you can do it legal on the dash or whatever.
Right.
And I'm actually having such success with freestyle that I am strongly considering next year having all the freestyle classes.
Okay.
I'm averaging like 12 to 13 entries into freestyle this year.
I'm finding, and this is just on a level of we as affiliates or show promoters. I find like the freestyle classes are really tight. It's
Yep.
a lot. It is like one stock class, one super street class. I'm
Yep.
just saying it off the top of my head, and that puts everyone in that class up until 5K of power against the smaller guy who is 1K. And it's basically he's giving away free. It's like he's giving us free money if you think about it. So I try to limit it. So yeah, tell him stay away from this class. Go try base race. Base race is fun.
Yes. Well, and truly, I push the new guy into freestyle. Hey, you just want to see what number it is? Well, I don't want to enter the competition. Hey, look here. You got to be part of this thing. To make you part of it, we're going to put you in freestyle. Tyler Archer posts right here. He says, open the door and bump the next guy over. That's a great technique. I've seen it done many a times, and it works well. Mario Perella says he believes, he has a feeling we're talking about Moses Martinez. It is not. It's Team Send It Chivo. Chivo's vehicle is just a ground-pounding monster. He plays at 20 hertz, and when he's doing Top Dog, he plays, I think, 25 hertz. So he's doing 25 hertz at 149.9, and yeah. It's,
so he opens the door to screw up the other guy?
Absolutely.
So what does he make the other guy do? Like red flag or just
all the
bust
time?
out?
Yeah, just bust out. Yep.
Bust out.
Yep. Or he'll open it up and be right next to him, and he'll do it right when they're getting close to the 20 seconds and knock them into the next class. So there's a little strategy to that.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. Like I said, Top Dog is a huge format here. It's a lot of fun. We always pay the winner, so I take $5 out of everybody that enters Top Dog. So if there's 10 people that enter Top Dog, it pays $50 to the winner.
Right.
And then I also give them a dog tag. So because trophies here, the trophies I do are fairly large. Their trophies are not cheap, which I'm sure both you as judges can attest to.
Not cheap at all.
Yes. So, but since I have a trophy shop, I can do things at a cheaper rate because I'm getting them at cost, right? So my first place trophy at a 1X is 29 inches, right?
Wow.
And then my first place at a 2X is 36 inches, and at a 3X is 48 inches, okay? So with that being said, I do so many events here in California, people get so many trophies fairly quickly. But the dog tags, they can just put the dog tags and just keep them on a chain. And like a couple of the guys have a chain just hanging from their windshield, which is 8, 10, 12 dog tags on it. So it's a little something different I do out here, and people seem to really like the dog tag. And that's kind of actually where I started the idea of that King of the Pound, So it's a dog tag, but it's world final size. So I love to do things. It looks like a crown.
It looks like a crown.
It is. We called it King of the Pound.
Right.
It's a logo that Celeste came up with, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And then she modified it for this event, and it's like I said, I think it's really cool. We're going to give it away with the trophy at World Finals. Only thing I did kind of screw up on it was I didn't put the date and information about the event. I didn't put 25th anniversary. So what I'm gonna do is on the back of it I'll put a sticker and it'll have all that information on it. So at least then the information about the event, because it's important, right? It's I won this at World Finals, and get 10, 12 years down the line, what year was that, right? So that's really cool. Hey, for those people watching the podcast right now, just know Jeffrey and I, we intend to do something like Sports Center kind of thing after the show. We'll sit down and try and pull a couple of competitors over to talk with us, and talk about the things they saw today or the things that they did, right, Jeff?
Yeah. Hopefully, go over some scores for the people that weren't able to make it, or people that just want to watch, or just want to see what's going on. We could kind of update everybody. I know past World Finals, a lot of the guys would wait till the end at finals, and then they're like get on their computer and they're like, well, what's the qualifying scores? Who's in the bracket, and this and that. We want to be able to try to inform everyone who can't make it, or who's just there to watch, via internet or whatever it is, to kind of give them updates and stuff. So that'd be kind of cool. We'll see how that works.
Talk about starting times and everything for Sunday morning, in case some of that stuff change.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. JJ says that dog tag is an awesome idea, Daren. Relevant for the class, top dog. Well, that's what started it. So, that's something I do unique to my area. If any of the other judges are interested, the only issue is they're not expensive. They're probably cost more to ship than to make for me. But they're interested. They're willing to have them. The only issue is when I do print one, it's for that event only. So it's difficult to say, hey, ship him 12 of them, unless he knows what 12 events he's got coming up, what dates they're going to be. Then I can make those up for a judge if that's what they're interested. And I can send them out with the chain and the dog tag attached. So I'll bring one to World. Actually, Julio, I'll make sure Julio brings a couple of them with him to World Finals, because he's going to get the rent-a-car and pull up. And I believe Team DTX or Pop-Tart or Gracie and her dad or somebody is going to help him put together a vehicle at World Finals to compete in Top Dog and Base Race. So Daren, is there anybody that you're looking forward to more than anybody else to see at World Finals?
Or you mean competition-wise?
Just in let's go in general first.
Oh, you mean old school?
Sure.
Not really.
Really? So I'm really interested in Tommy McKinney's truck. Can't wait to see that again.
But that is not his anymore.
I know it's not his.
I think it doesn't have the RE anymore, and it's not. I'm not sure if it still has incriminator amps in there.
It don't matter as long as that thing plays. It holds a sentimental value.
It does. It does. In competition, I want to see the extreme class, and I'm more excited of the super street class this year. Super street is gonna be really fun this year, and that's just from the making of it, of seeing how all those qualifying numbers came in, or the certified numbers came in. Mm-hmm. I think super street is gonna be a very interesting class.
Anybody you're looking for, Jeffrey?
As far as like a specific competitor, or you mean like a class, or
whatever? Yeah.
I'm really interested in seeing the Cyclone. Man, like guys this year really stepped it up, like everywhere. Like it was. I want to say it was predominantly West Coast California had a lot of the loud Cyclone guys, but now you got like the guys in my area, Texas. You have guys in the East Coast. What is it? Team DC Luke, who had the world record, and then now the world record is back on the West Coast. So I kind of want to see that matchup. Who's got the loudest vehicle at 20 hertz, and who can keep it together without busting any windshields, without breaking the whole car apart and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to the Cyclone demo competition.
Another thing I'm looking forward to too is obviously the death match at the end, right?
Ooh, yeah, that's another thing.
Here's Salisa's comment. I'm looking forward to sleeping for a month after finals.
Yeah, he's been working around the clock, man.
They normally go to vacation after finals for like a whole month.
When I log on Facebook, I always see like Celise on. I was like, she's not sleep. Like they don't sleep. She's always on. I'm excited to see Wayne's that new lighting tree for his tower too. I want to see that.
Oh, yeah. Saw the video.
I did. As a matter of fact, I did see the video. It'd be nice to get those back because I had the light trees. As long as they've been supported, I've had light trees on my system. So
I agree.
And then they stopped supporting them, and
Correct.
so I've had to take my light trees down and whatnot. And I would love to put them back up.
You had the old incandescent light bulbs.
I did.
That's how old school it were. So wow, to see them now in LED form, 11 foot tall. Wayne was saying. Man,
correct.
That'd be crazy.
Celise says she's still in the office now. Just for you guys that didn't know, I invited her on next week, but I think she's gonna push the task over to Wayne. So we're gonna talk about World Finals and what to expect, and time frames, and just a general overview of World Finals before you guys heading out there. That's gonna be next week on the program. So, the death match, I think that's gonna be cool. We're talking about doing multiple death matches like we used to do back in the day, Extreme and Super Street and stock, but Super Street death match I think is where it's at this year.
I think so too.
And it'd be interesting to see who would do it. I've told this story. It's been a very long time now, but so the first World Finals I was at, I was tasked with the fire extinguisher, and I was behind the white Crossfire van. And I don't remember whose it was. It was Scott. Not Owens, not...
What year was it?
It would have been 05.
05.
So, but anyway, he had the all BD1000s, or whatever the C1000s or whatever they were, the white ones, the white Crossfire linkable lamps.
Oh, I think CFAs?
CFAs, there you go. And I was back there, and dude, his whole thing was pop, 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 pop. Flames coming out of the amps, and he goes, if you turn on that fire extinguisher, I will beat your ass.
Wow.
He's all, let it burn to the ground.
Let it burn.
Yep.
It was like a Super Street vehicle, wasn't it? Or
no, it was an Extreme.
Extreme? Okay.
Yeah, it was an Extreme white van. It might have been Super Street 5+, but I mean, it was pretty extreme. Mm-hmm. RP said death match for all classes, ? So we're discussing it. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. But I think we're going to have, one death match at finals, Celise says. OG style, Super Street. There you go. Celise just said it. There you go, RP.
So does that mean no extreme vehicles?
She said Super Street.
Super Street, okay.
Yep. I wonder.
Cyclone involved in that? Cyclone, I think the Cyclone guys could do it.
Oh, they could for fun.
Yeah.
The way we used to do Super Street or the death match was we took the 4 loudest vehicles of the day.
Yeah.
And they were put in, and they got the first chance. Celise says no on the Cyclone.
Nah.
So, but you know what? If one of the Cyclone guys are running Super Street X, and they happen to be one of the loudest guys of the day, they will get in it.
Yeah.
Right?
So if they're competing in DB Drag and Cyclone.
Yep.
Technically, their vehicle, Super Street, if they are in Super Street, they could do the death match. Wow, that would be really cool.
Yeah. So for me, most of my Cyclone guys are Super Street X. I would say all except for, well, Jose's not, and he's the world record holder, and he's not even Super Street X.
Okay.
He's just straight up Super Street. And his Cyclone demo no wall, if he slid his box back about 6 inches, he'd be able to fold up his seat and be in the stock no limit class. Can we compete in Super Street 1 to 2 but do deathmatch with 4 woofers? I would guess the answer would be no to that. The reason I say that is because we want people to compete as they did in the DB Drag. Slee says DB Drag is Super Street only in all caps, so she's yelling at me.
Super Street only. So you Super Street guys that are registered competing in Super Street at finals know that could be an option. And it says here, loudest 4 of the show get the first option. So if they decline, then we'll go to the next guy.
Loudest.
And to remind you guys, at the East Coast finals, the guy who ended up winning deathmatch was an alternate. It was one of the guys scheduled to be a competitor. He had to bow out for whatever reason, so they had to choose an alternate to step up, and he ended up winning deathmatch. So there's always a chance.
There's always a chance. There you go. All sad faces from RP. All you have to do is be one of the loudest guys, RP, in Super Street. You got this. Anyway, so we're running up on 52 minutes already. So we're just about done. Next week we're gonna pull in either Wayne or Celise. It sounds like more of it's gonna be Wayne instead of Celise. I just would like everybody in the world to that hasn't met Celise to meet her and see who she is. She is truly the neck that turns the head. Wayne Harris is the head of DB Drag, but without Celise, a lot of this stuff wouldn't get done. She affords Wayne an awesome opportunity of helping taking care of things that I don't want to say are below his level, but she gives him the opportunity to focus on things that are bigger. And we all need somebody like that in our life, whether we be the person that focuses on the small stuff and our spouse focuses on the bigger. For me and my wife, I'm the long-term thinker. My wife's the short-term thinker. I don't even think about how I'm going to pay my bills at the end of the month. I'm looking at retirement. I'm looking at, hey, how are we going to get this house? How are we going to get our next car? I'm looking at that kind of stuff. And my wife's like, well, before you think that, we got to we got to pay our bills this month. So, but we need the combination of the two people, right? We need somebody that takes care of the bills. We need somebody that does the laundry. We need somebody that does, takes care of the minutia of the kids. That's super important. Parents always want to be part of their kids, whether it be, whether it's just, going to the games and then working all week, or, being actually the stay-at-home dad, which I know a lot of stay-at-home dads, and that's where they fit in best. So we all need that in our lives. And I appreciate that I do have a wife that I can do that with, and she compliments me, and I see the same thing in Wayne and Celise. So
agreed.
Tiffany Paris says she's the backbone of the operation. Absolutely.
She is.
Any of the flyers you see, that's all Celise. The promotional stuff you see, that's all Celise. So she's a little camera shy, so I'm really going to try and get her to come on. But it doesn't look like she's going to, so we'll have Wayne on next week, which would be cool. Like I said, he'll talk about the basics. Celise puts together the layout of the flooring. She does the banners. She's the one that does the T-shirts. So,
all
she's
the
working.
artwork stuff.
Yes, anything artwork-wise for DB Drag, logos, all that stuff, that's all done through Celise. Like I said, she is a huge part of what makes DB drag successful.
Correct.
And us as judges. You know, I can call
Correct.
Celeste and say, hey, this is what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. And she can usually pump something out for me. Sometimes she's got to put me off for a little bit, like the stickers for the windshields this year. Just saying, Celeste. You know, but because she's got so much stuff on her plate that, you know, I'm willing to wait and be acceptable. But she's going to come up with the artwork that we're going to use on the stickers for the windshield. I'll get those all printed and ready for World Finals. She's the one that helped with obviously the King of the Pound. She's the one who did design these new shirts for all the judges. Let's see. She says, if any of the finalists haven't turned in their photos, please send them over ASAP. That's to all of us. The judges, we were supposed to send over photos too. Competitors need to send over photos. So if you're competing, please send over a photo. And if you know you're going to compete, but you're not going to be there until, you know, pay or whatever, till close to World Finals, please send over that information to Celeste.
So it's more kind of like a flyer she makes.
Yes.
To kind of let people know that, hey, you're a finalist, you know, you're a judge, you're going to be an old school attendee. So, hey, you know, if she's asking for your photos, I'd submit them right away. So that way she can get you out that flyer and you can, you know, post it on your Facebook or your social media. Looks really cool.
It's the 25th anniversary. This is big time. This is,
Big time.
this is awesome. They are going above and beyond. They are spending more money than they're taking in this year for World Final. I mean, they're so far upside down on this because they want it to be the best experience for you guys as the competitors. They really, really want to get back this year.
Yeah.
And I can't even express how important that is in their eyes, that they want you guys to come and have the greatest time you've ever had in your life at a show.
So if you guys are on the fence about registering for finals, man, you know, if you had any finals you choose to go to, choose this one because it's going to be big. It's going to be huge. And, you know, you'll see when you get there and then hopefully you'll be a lifer and just do every World Finals every year after. But definitely be a part of this one. It's going to be historic. I
would agree with that. All right, Daren, we're running out of time here. So, hey, Jeffrey, you want to hit him with our final question? Forgot to prep for it.
All right, Daren. What is your definition of a bass head?
I would say someone that attend. Well, you're talking like from a perspective point of view, as in someone who's looking at it, or someone who's competing.
Just your definition.
My definition, I would say someone who was looking on the outside at competition and then was intrigued by it, and then after started to compete and, you know, moved up from that point.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong.
No, hey, it's how you feel about it, right?
Exactly. There's no right or wrong answers to that question. It's how you feel about it.
Okay. All right, Jeffrey, what do we got? I see a little sign behind you there tonight.
Oh, you mean this one?
Yeah.
I'm going to be back in Cali, going back to Cali, Chula Vista, to be specific, Saturday, October 22nd. The guys down there, Team Gorilla Hertz and Team 619, throwing a show. They've nicknamed it the Beatdown. So they're not going to rest at all. They're just going to go right into it. October 22nd at 10 a.m. in Chula Vista, DB drag competition. It's going to be a double point event. So it's never too early to start racking up your points, right? So,
yep.
Check
Moses will be there.
Moses, he'll be there. I'm pretty sure. So I'll see him up there. But yeah, definitely check it out on the DB Drag Racing calendar.
All right. Celeste just posted this in the chat. Lunches included both days, plus Saturday night barbecue dinner and party. So that's for the competitors. So don't forget that part of it. Daren, how do people get in contact with you? Say they're in the Bermuda Triangle or whatever, and how do people find you and participate in what you do?
I'm on Facebook. It's Daren Narine, just as my name. You can find me there. My number is 1-868-764-6655. You know, anything in the if anyone in the Caribbean wants to do an event, want to be intrigued by getting DB drag in the event, I have no problems assisting or coming over to help. Um, this weekend we also have an event on the 25th. First event gonna be there at these people. It's a space, a very big space. It's gonna be a 1x event. We're doing base race, DB drag base race, freestyle, top dog, freestyle, base race, and top dog is gonna be cash prizes. Um, it's the first event they're doing there. I would say a lot of my guys are online. They've been supporting. You know, they're very supportive of things.
So,
Yeah, I've seen pictures of your setup, and man, that you got like a 20 by 10
Correct.
tent, right? And then on top of that, you got this other tent, and like all the banners are huge. And
Yeah.
wow, I was like, man, Aaron's doing it big.
Well, I think that from Wayne's perspective, when we look at Wayne's setup, we go all out, you know, and we try to keep up to that momentum and that name when it comes to DB drag. You want to showcase the product in the right way, and it has to be in a professional manner. You know, we don't do anything shady. It has to be done. You know, it must be standing out to everything else.
yep. All right, guys. I got nothing happening till World Finals. I'm just bowling tournaments. As a matter of fact, I
When
gotta
you
go
get
take people's money today.
when
So
you got when you getting in, Doug, when you getting into Owensboro,
I am coming Friday night. I think I get there at like 7 p.m. on Friday.
Jeffrey.
But then I gotta drive, so probably 9.
I'm gonna try to be there bright and early on Friday. You know, I past few
Some of us have to
final.
work, you know.
Well, you know, maybe you could ask your boss and get some vacation. But past few World Finals, I've kind of, you know, gotten in like late Friday, and I felt like I missed a lot of things. So I'm gonna try to make it a point this finals to try to get there early on Friday, and you know, just kind of be a part of setting up and stuff like that. How about you, Daren? When are you getting in?
I'm gonna try to be there on Friday. I think the rollout is on Friday, and we're starting
At
to do
6.
the prejudging on the prejudging on Friday.
Or
So
from 4 to 6, right? Isn't that what it was?
yeah.
Something like that, 4 to 6 p.m.
So
Something
I
like
think
that.
I think some of the prejudging is gonna happen on Friday too. So
Yes.
I wanna be there early to make sure we get an early start. So I'm thinking of getting in on most likely Thursday night
Oh, okay.
because I'm getting it. I have to after the show on Saturday. I leave out on Tuesday, and then I'm going into Miami and probably stay there one night, and then leave out there to get to Kentucky, and then leave Kentucky on Monday and head back to Miami because the traveling situation from Miami to Kentucky, they're telling me I have to overstay at least 9 hours in overlay, and I was like, that doesn't make much sense to me. That's like you're losing an entire day,
Oh, you
half
mean
of a
like
day.
like
Overlay,
oh,
9 hours
okay.
to the next flight.
Oh, because, yeah, you only have so many flights that head to your island, right?
Well, I'm going into Miami first.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's Trinidad to Miami, and then Miami to Kentucky.
Okay.
Wow.
I think it's Nashville. It's going into Nashville, and then
That's
from
where I'm going.
Nashville.
I'm going to Louisville. So,
Well, there was three options.
Yeah,
There was
yeah.
three options. There was Nashville, Louisville, and Evansville.
yeah.
Yeah, those are the three options. But I'm looking at the shortest distance. So I don't have to rent a car. I'm trying to. I don't want to be renting a car on top of it. So
Yeah, I'm going to be. Celeste says prejudge 5 to 8 p.m. Friday night.
yeah,
So, there you go.
Doug's not gonna be there.
Hey, that's fine.
Doug's clocking in his card on Saturday morning. He's like, yep.
That's what it is. I gotta go to Dallas, Texas. I gotta go to Phoenix, or not Phoenix, Vegas. I gotta go. I keep forgetting if it's Michigan or Minnesota, and I gotta go to World Finals. That's all in the month of October. My job already hates me because we're doing commissioning, which is the end of a project, right in the middle of the time I'm leaving. So I got to try and limit the amount of days I'm actually gone. So anyway, once again, hey guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Jeffrey and Daren. Hope you had a great time on this little podcast of ours. We shared with everybody here who you are. Hopefully, come up to Daren, say hi, shake his hand at World Finals, say hey, nice to meet you. Hopefully, you understand a little more of who he is. Remember, support those who support the things that you like that happen. Support those who support the things you like to do. All those people that support DB Drag support this podcast. Stolman Transport LLC. Lots of Watts apparel, Puns Customs, and Crossfire Car Audio. Remember, if you get an opportunity, please support those sponsors. Once again, hey guys, thank you for tuning in. We will be back here again next week on Monday with either Wayne or Celise at 5:30 p.m. California time, the only time that does matter. Don't care where you are in the world. My time's the only time that matters. Anyway, we'll be back again next week. Hopefully you guys join us again and hear some information about what's going on in World Finals. You guys have a great day, and thank you for being here. We'll see you next week. Peace.